And I'm Katie Beasley. I'm sitting for Josh tonight as he's getting turned up for his birthday. Disappointing. It's a little bit funny, but it's pretty disappointing because it kind of just reflects the whole team and the whole program, and it couldn't come at a worse time. Right now they're on a 12-game winning streak, number 2 in the nation, about to be number 1. And he's one of their main pitchers. Like, what he decides to do for his consequences, it kind of reflects of what the program's going to do in the future and what kind of players and athletes we want as a whole for Oregon State University.
Yeah, and having...
Okay, but can we talk about this for a second? Like, what do you think happened? Like, whose house do you think he broke into, and how did this go down? So anyone broke into my house, you would get sprayed by some bear mace, that's for sure. The happiest guy in the Northwest has to be Paul Allen right now. Not only did he get a Super Bowl this year, but his Blazers made it all the way to the second round of the playoffs. I think he has a lot of potential for next year, and he's going to be selling lots of tickets.
Or can hurt them in the next playoffs.
It shows that they're a very versatile team. They don't have to rely on one person to get them through the series, that they can. They shout out to senior linebacker Michael Doctor for being on the watch list for the Lot Impact Trophy, a prestigious award honoring a defensive player for their character and for having the biggest impact on their team both on and off the field. Past weekend, the Beavers swept the UCLA Bruins, winning 4-2, 9-3, and 11-2. Tuesday, the Beavers went to Kaiser, Oregon. Speaking of the Spurs, they definitely did take care of business and have a lot to look forward to for the rest of these playoffs. The biggest lesson they learned, especially in this last game, was how to not panic when their star player gets out of the game. Digs leader for the team, racking up 31 digs throughout the night. This put her at 1,888 mark in her career. She needs 112 more to become the 10th player in the Pac-12 to have more than 2,000 digs in a single career. Kelsey Zimmerman also saw a career high. With some of our sports show staff went and talked to the people about their predictions of the game last week. Here's what they had to say.
I'm here with Joe. Tell me a little bit about your tailgate here.
Well, this is a tailgate we've been having for a few years now, and good time with good people, and just looking for a Beaver win here.
It looks pretty lively. Did you make this bus yourself?
Didn't make it myself. A lot of help with a lot of people, but it's a good party bus.
All right. So, do you have any predictions for today's game?
I think the Beavers by 10.
Mean to you about being a super fan?
To me, it means family because my grandpa was Dee Andros, the football coach here in the 60s and 70s. He coached here for 11 years, and then after that was the athletic director for 10 more.
Oh, that's cool. So I'm guessing your favorite sport is football.
Yeah, definitely football. I've been to all but 3 home games since 1997 when I first started going.
So tell me, what does it exactly mean to be a Beaver believer to you?
It means earning every right to celebrate victories because of all the struggles we've gone through, 28 straight losing seasons. It's not easy being a Beaver.
What does it mean to be a Beaver fan for you?
Well, I think that school spirit is very important in a student, and I think it helps just kind of bring the whole community of the school together. And so I feel like with my cheering and yelling at sporting events, that really helps people get more excited and brings people together.
This last week's game against the Cardinals was a tough loss for Beaver Nation. Stanford came out on top 20-12 over Oregon State. The entire game was a back-and-forth battle that didn't end in OSU's favor despite the hopeful fans. Next up is Sean Mannion. Even though this wasn't Mannion's top performance, this game showed how much he has matured. He was sacked 9 times, and in the past he would have hurried and thrown a couple interceptions in these circumstances. But he didn't. He didn't make any bad decisions, and he completed most of his passes. Overall, even though he didn't produce in his number, he showed that he's matured as a player. Earlier this season, the defense was criticized for not holding up to their standards, but in this game, they showed up and kept Stanford's offense under 300 yards. Then there's Brandon Cooks. Everyone in the country knows that when they play Oregon State University, they need to give it to Cooks. Cooks gets beat up every single game and somehow still manages to produce. Last game versus Stanford, he averaged 8.9 yards per run, including 1 touchdown. I'm excited to see what happens next game versus USC, especially from Cooks and Mannion.
On May 3rd, Jenna and I went to Reser Stadium during Mom's Weekend to check out OSU football's spring showcase game. There was lots of excitement with the fans, but nobody had as much fun as Jenna and Benny did. There was lots of energy in the atmosphere, making it a bright and cheerful day despite the gloomy weather.
Oregon State Beavers will welcome back one of their most prolific passers, Sean Mannion, for his senior campaign. While he's ready to be back for the 2014 season, he won't have his go-to target, Brandon Cooks. Oregon State needs to find someone to fill his shoes, and there may be no better candidate than Victor Bolden. Last season, Bolden saw limited action in the offense with only 6 receptions for 62 yards in the season. But Bolden did show great versatility in the first season with the Beavers, rushing for 95 yards and a touchdown on 12 attempts while averaging over 20 yards per kick return, with one taken all the way back for a touchdown against the Washington Huskies. He showcased well here at the spring game, and this will all serve him well as he transitions into a more prominent role in the offense in the 2014 season. Bolden's biggest plays were when he returned a kickoff 40 yards, and though the defense didn't exactly try and tackle Bolden on the return, a punt 75 yards for a touchdown.
Senior cornerback Steven Nelson was one of the top performers at the spring game. He had 2 pass breakups, including a deep ball intended for Victor Bolden down the sideline.
Oregon State picked up Alabama transfer quarterback Luke Del Rio, who will be eligible to play this fall for the Beavers. Del Rio was particularly sharp on the final drive in the first half, hitting Hunter Jarman twice and Kellen Clute, while also showing pocket awareness to roll out and throw the ball away while escaping pressure.
Hunter Jarman is a freshman wide receiver whom Mike Riley highlights as a young player with potential. The freshman had a great offensive play during the game, making a 15-yard catch near the sideline.
Here, number 26 backup cornerback Devin Chappelle had a great diving interception against Vanderveen.
Number 86, Obum Gwacham, was the only successful player to have a sack on Sean Mannion towards the end of the game. One thing in particular the Beavers may need to work on this season are their kick returns. And wait for it. Doink! Back to you, Jenna.
Tickets that weren't available until the next day. Our correspondent Katie Beasley was on the scene early in the morning to get a glimpse of what it was like for the students.
So we've got Katie with us here right now. Why don't you were out there really early, like 4:30?
Yeah, I got there right at 4:30.
What was the atmosphere like? What were the fans like out that early camping out?
Well, people are just starting to wake up because they need to be out of their tents and have them all put away by 5 to get in line and make sure you get your tickets. But some people were super excited. Some people were like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And it was pretty cold, so.
So from the people that you talked to, what was the earliest that a fan had actually started to camp out for the tickets?
At the beginning of the line, the guys that were there got there on Sunday at noon.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's dedication. Yeah.
All right, so the Beavers
In Pullman, Washington on Saturday. Once again, I'm Katie Beasley.
I'm Katie Beasley.
And I'm Jake McGrady. Thanks for tuning in and have a great evening.